Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics.
We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. My name is Jones Angell. That is Adam Lucas, and we have a terrific 30 minutes or so coming up for you. We're going to look back at the big win over NC State for Carolina football, look ahead to another rivalry matchup. This time it's the oldest rivalry in the South, the 125th meeting with Virginia. Some Olympic sport news as well. We have an interview with Tar Heels starting quarterback Sam Howell. I think you'll enjoy that. Plus, we have our social drive as well. So a lot to do. And Adam, it starts with that 48-21 win over NC State last weekend for Carolina. And boy, a really impressive performance. Mack Brown has since called it, he thought, the most complete victory of the season for Carolina. And a very physical performance, too, for the Tar Heels, really in all facets, on the lines, on defense, and even finishing runs. Carolina was very physical.
What a satisfying afternoon at Kenan Stadium to get that type of win over an NC State team in Chapel Hill. And just to feel like you are the team that is delivering the punishment at almost every turn. Credit to Brian Hess, of course, and the strength staff, but also to the Carolina players who made it happen in a lot of different ways, doling out some punishment to the Wolfpack.
I've never seen a game, Adam, where so many runs ended with the person with the ball applying the biggest hit. Even if he was tackled on the play, the ball carrier applying the slam.
That was incredible. I'm glad that we didn't come back from that video about 2 seconds earlier because I was swinging across the set on the wrecking ball, and I'm just glad that you missed that. So, Jones, of all those, which one was your favorite chicken truck of the NC State game?
British Brooks.
I think the sleeper, I think that's the right answer, but I think the sleeper is Emery Simmons, who just throws down the defender and then, not content to do that, just jukes the next one.
Yeah. I want to show you a little bit of the power and the speed on the same run. So certainly a terrific performance. By the way, you saw that Sam Howell block in that little video package. Maybe we'll talk to Sam about that coming up in just a little bit. Adam, as it has been for so many occasions on this season, it was a terrific afternoon for the running back duo of Javonte Williams and Michael Carter for the Tar Heels. Javonte, as you can see in some of these tweets, just put up some ridiculous numbers. The 17 missed tackles. He already has 12 touchdowns this season as well. That's second in the NCAA. Michael Carter was honored by the Hornig Award this past week as far as an all-purpose, versatile player. He was on the honor roll for this past week. He is fourth in the NCAA as far as all-purpose yards per game, and these guys just continue to do it week in and week out.
I think you have an appreciation as a Carolina fan for how good they have been, but when you see tweets like what were just up on the screen and you get a sense of context of how they're doing relative to the rest of the country, I think you really understand, especially Javonte Williams, what a great season he is having. And Williams and Carter, 8th and 9th right now in the NCAA in total rushing yardage. That's 8th and 9th nationally. So just having a great season out of the offensive backfield, of course.
Somehow, neither one of those guys was named the ACC running back of the week for this past week, but the Tar Heels did have someone honored by the conference, and that was Chaz Surratt, named the ACC linebacker of the week. Second time this year Chaz has earned that honor. He did so with a team-high 8 tackles, had an interception, a sack, a forced fumble in the game, all over the place, and another terrific game for the Tar Heel linebacker. Up next, Adam, is another late kick and a late road game for the Heels. 8 o'clock on the ACC network on Saturday night, Tar Heels and Virginia. Carolina at one point had won 7 in a row in this rivalry. Virginia, though, has won the last 3, and Carolina will be looking not only to turn that around, but also play well on the road. That's something Mack Brown has talked about is another step for building this program, is to match your performance at home, where Carolina has played very well this year, match that type of performance, but away from Kenan Stadium.
And this, by and large, has been a series where one team controls it for some length of time. It's not Carolina wins one, Virginia wins one, Carolina, Virginia. Now Carolina wants to establish that kind of streak over the Cavaliers. Virginia's run defense has been pretty stout, maybe a little susceptible in the secondary, so perhaps Carolina passing game gets something going. But the Cavaliers do have about a half dozen quarterbacks, and a couple of them are mobile, so keep an eye on that. As Jones mentioned, the game's on ACC Network. If you're not sure if you have ACC Network, go to getaccn.com and make sure that you can watch this game on Saturday night because it should be a good one.
Radio-wise, we'll be on the air at 7 p.m. for that one to get you started for the 8 o'clock kick. By the way, our show is brought to you by Wells Fargo. When our communities need us, Wells Fargo is here to help. Let's turn the page to the Olympic sports for the Tar Heels, Adam, and some more success this past week. We'll start with men's soccer. Number 5 in the country had another big matchup with Clemson. Remember, those two teams had already played once this year, with Carolina getting a buzzer beater victory and fought to what was a really exciting 3-3 finish. A ton of offense in this one, especially late in the ballgame.
Tar Heels made a big push at the end. They were down 2-0 and recovered from that deficit in the final 30 minutes. As you saw there, they went into double overtime, ended in a draw. Carolina will host NC State on Sunday. Tar Heels trying to work into position to host one of those ACC quarterfinals on November 15th. And of course, on the women's side with soccer, Anson Dorrance's club having a great year. They're in action tonight. They will be at Louisville, and then they host Notre Dame on Sunday in what is the regular season finale. And if you're wondering, you kind of have this sense, I feel like Anson Dorrance has been good with that women's soccer program. Look at this. Just look at that number. That's ridiculous. And Jones, I don't want to spoil this. I will do a TikTok dance if Anson Dorrance loses his next 802 matches in a row.
TikTok won't even be around by the time, if that even, which A, it's not going to happen, but B, if it did, it would be a while from now. But unbelievable consistency for Anson Dorrance in the women's soccer program, and right in the mix at the top of the nation yet again. Some other teams at the top of the nation, Carolina field hockey, always right there. Two-time, of course, defending national champion. Their regular season closing this weekend with a match in Chapel Hill. Volleyball's regular season closing this weekend in Chapel Hill as well with a match, and good luck also to Carolina cross country. They are in the ACC championships, which are being held over in Cary. So a lot of Carolina athletic action this upcoming weekend. And Adam, somebody that we will all be watching in action on at Saturday night is Carolina quarterback Sam Howell. And boy, what a young career that Sam has already put up. More than 5,000 passing yards. Took him just 18 games to do that. He is already 5th all-time in Carolina history in passing yards, and had the spectacular freshman season a year ago and has followed it up with just another terrific campaign.
And doing it on the field, doing it leadership-wise. And I think you get a sense of just that calmness that you see on the field in this interview. You're not going to rattle Sam Howell. No matter what you ask him or no matter what blitz you throw at him, he's going to be the same exact guy, and that's benefited the Tar Heels so much over these last 2 seasons.
Carolina quarterback Sam Howell, our guest today, and our interview, as always, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Let's get to our conversation with Sam. Come back. We have our social drive coming up here on the Carolina Insider.
Normally we give you a big introduction about our guest. Don't think this guest either needs it or would appreciate it. This is Sam Howell. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's Carolina's quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks Carolina's ever had. Sam, thanks for being with us.
Yep, thank you guys for having me.
Sam, whoa, hold on, Adam.
Okay.
Sam, I'm jealous of your beard. How have you gotten your beard so perfectly manicured?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just genetics. If you look at if you look at my dad, he has an awesome beard, so really I get it from him.
Look, there's no need to mess around. You're just born with this. That's how it happens.
Also, you have no chance.
Yeah, that's right.
Sam, what's it been like over at Keenan here the last couple days after Saturday's big win?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, we played well on Saturday, had a good team win. We played a pretty complete game overall on both sides of the ball, so just trying to carry that momentum into Virginia this week. You know, we're done with NC State now, so we moved on to Virginia, so we've got to carry that momentum on to this week.
How excited was the sideline when you went down the field and made that block in the state game, and how excited was the film review of said block?
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement on the sideline. I kind of heard it, in the game actually, and then definitely there was kind of like a little celebration in the film room when it happened, and I actually got a T-shirt from our O-line coach, Coach Searle, so it was pretty exciting.
Wait a minute. You got a chicken truck T-shirt?
Oh, I got one. I got one. Yeah, I'm very proud of it too. I didn't think I'd ever get one, but
We're doing our best to get one, Sam. We're going to try and get one over here at Pod World headquarters. We hadn't been able to procure one yet, but we're trying to get one.
yeah, they're pretty sweet. I wore it the first day I got it, so I didn't think I'd ever have the chance to ever get one, but I'm definitely blessed I got one.
So now we know you have one, Javante's got one. Who else other than the O-linemen do you know that have the chicken truck T-shirt?
Other than O-linemen, I don't know if very many people have them, honestly. The Coach Searles is kind of they're hard to get. You really got to put someone on their back. So, yeah, other than those two, I really don't know, honestly.
Yeah, just that it's protective. Not just anybody can get one. We know this.
Could British Brooks get one for the hit over near the sideline?
Oh, yeah, British got one.
Okay,
Yep,
good.
British got one.
Sam, obviously last year was such a tremendous season for you and the team, but such great individual numbers. This offseason, what was your focus? How did you look at what you did and say, okay, I need to get better in X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to get better mentally, just learning more of the game, learning more about the defensive side of the ball. So always trying to expand my knowledge of the game. Then another way I try to get better was just try to improve my mobility. I wasn't very mobile last year. I was kind of just a statue in the pocket last year. Couldn't really move to protect myself. So in the offseason, I really worked on loosening my hips and just trying to be more explosive. That way I could not only protect myself, but extend plays on third downs and things like that.
Okay, I have heard both you and Coach Longo use that phrase, loosening your hips. What do you do to loosen your hips?
Yeah, I mean, just different exercises. Coach Hess has a program in place for us. So Coach Hess does a really good job of mobility and stuff like that. I think that's what makes him one of the best strength coaches in the country. Is he really cares about the little things. So yeah, he definitely put in a hip mobility program for me while I was back home in quarantine, and it's paid off.
So knowing that this is something you've worked on, what's more satisfying for you personally? The block that we already talked about, throwing a really nice touchdown pass, which you also did on Saturday, or the touchdown run where you clearly looked very mobile. When you look at those three things, what do you look at and go, yeah, that really makes me happy?
I definitely have to say the block. That's not something you see every day from a quarterback. But, yeah, also running touchdowns. I ran a lot of touchdowns in high school, and that's something I really haven't been able to do here. So definitely when I do get to run a touchdown, it's pretty exciting.
Sam, I want to go back to one of the things you said a second ago about learning more about defense. I know you have studied football a lot, both before you got to Carolina and since you've been here. What kind of things are you still learning about defense even now after several years of working at it? Yeah,
I mean, there's still so much more to learn. There's new things that come up in the defensive world almost every single day. You see it with every single team that we play. They're doing something different. So you can never know every single defense. So I mean, you can strive for that, but there's always new defenses for me to learn and just new ways that teams are keying certain things and stuff like that.
When you have the ball and the play is unfolding, what things do you look for to know, okay, I need to, if I can extend this play another second or two, good things are going to happen, or it's time for me to take off and run, there's nothing there, or throw the ball away. What do you see that the rest of us normal folks don't see that help you know what to do?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's pretty instinctive. When you see like an open gap or a lot of open space, you just instinctively just kind of take off and just try to take advantage of the open space that the defense is giving you, and then you just kind of feel when you've been holding the ball too long and when it's time to get out of the pocket. That's still something I'm trying to get a little better at. I think there was a couple plays on Saturday where I tried to extend the play a little too long and ended up getting us out of field goal range on one of those plays. So just trying to be smart with it. It's one of those things where when you try to extend the play too long and it works out for you, it's good, but when it doesn't work, it's bad. So you just got to be able to just kind of know the situation and just try to be instinctive about it.
All right, where are we on the journey of Sam Howell rushing, scrambling, but also Sam Howell sliding and not taking some of the type of shots that he has taken during some games this season? Where are you in the maturation process as far as all that's concerned?
Yeah, I think I'm getting a lot better. I I've kind of realized this year that I'm supposed to be sliding to protect myself, but every time I slide, I get my head taken off. So I'm trying to reevaluate what I should do as far as getting down and protecting myself. But no, I've definitely gotten a lot better, especially if you go back all the way to the South Carolina game. My first game was pretty ugly. I took a lot of hits that I shouldn't have took. So yeah, just trying to do a better job protecting myself.
We've seen quarterbacks who are popular in the quarterback room. We've seen quarterbacks who are popular with their offensive teammates. You really seem like you're there with everybody on the team, offense, defense, everybody. How do you try to lead?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to set the example every single day. Whether things are going good or bad, you just got to be the same person. I think my teammates know what they're going to get out of me every single day. So I just try to really just show them what it takes. I just think you just got to be consistent and do it on a daily basis. And I think real leaders step up when things are going bad, and that's what I try to do. Just trying to lead as any way I can.
Speaking of stepping up when things are going bad, I think you'd probably agree that the first 30 minutes of Florida State was not the best 30 minutes the Tar Heels have played so far this season. How did you guys get that thing turned around? I know the result wasn't what you wanted in the end, but how did you get things turned around to look more like the team you want to be in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, in the locker room, we just told our guys, just take it one play at a time. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just keep fighting. We knew we were the better football team. We just had to go out there and play like it. There's a lot of things that didn't go right in the first half as far as an execution standpoint, but we knew we were the better team, so we just had to go in there, take it one play at a time, and just keep fighting. And that's what we did. We ended up coming up short, but yeah, I'm definitely proud of the way we responded in the second half and the way we fought to the end.
Sam, you guys as a team have run so well this year. Of course, Javonte and Michael having such a terrific season to this point. As a quarterback, how does it help you when those guys are doing what they've been doing?
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot. I just kind of sit back there and hand the ball off and watch them do what they do. But yeah, I mean, it brings the safeties in the box and opens up stuff in the passing game. So I think the balance we have on this offense is really hard for defenses to stop. They kind of got to choose what they want to take away. If they want to take away the deep ball that game, then we're just going to run the ball the whole time, and we're going to do a really good job of it. So I think it just puts a lot more stress on defensive coordinators as far as them deciding on what they want to take away, because we have so many guys and so many weapons on this offense where on any given day somebody can go for 100 yards. And we really don't know who it's going to be going into the game, but it really just depends on what the defense is trying to take away.
What would you tell somebody about why it's beneficial to play in a Phil Longo offense, both how it improves you individually and how it sort of enables you to succeed?
Yeah, it's definitely a quarterback-friendly offense. Coach Longo does a really good job. We have a really good plan every single week. He gives me a lot of freedom before the play on what I should do with the ball. We throw the ball down the field a good amount too. So definitely from a quarterback standpoint, it's very quarterback-friendly. And one thing Coach Longo does a really good job of is he gets the ball in his playmakers' hands. He knows how to utilize his talent. So and he does a really good job of just finding what the defense is trying to take away, and then doing if they're trying to take away the run, we're gonna throw the ball. If they're trying to take away the pass, and we're gonna run the ball. So he does a really good job of balancing stuff like that out.
That's a good scouting report. I wanted to get another scouting report from you. Are you familiar with Trey Morrison's cooking?
Yeah, I've had it a couple times. Trey actually lives basically in my house. Our house is like connected, so I'm over there a good amount. And yeah, I've had it. It's pretty good. Yeah, he's definitely probably the best on the team that I've had. So yeah, he's a good cook.
See? Leading the offense and the defense. He can give it up to the defenders if he needs to every now and then. Sam, before we let you go, Virginia this week, a good defensive team, got some big guys. Just take us through some of the prep that you guys are looking at right now for the Cavaliers coming up on Saturday night.
Yeah, they're a very well-coached defense. They're very multiple. This is probably the most multiple defense we've seen so far this year. They do a lot of different stuff from a coverage and front standpoint, so we definitely got to put in a lot of time from a preparation standpoint this week to have a good idea of what they're doing out there on Saturday. So it'll be a good matchup for us and a good challenge for us, so I'm excited for it.
Last thing, at least from me, Sam, last year you came in and everybody knew who you were, but it was this freshman guy and he had the huge season. This year there's been so much more attention just on you and everything you do. Is that overwhelming at times, or has that been something that you've just taken in stride?
Yeah, I don't really notice it a whole lot. I just try to be who I am. I just try to be the same person. No matter how much hype I have or how much attention I get, I just try to be the same person every single day. It's definitely I'm definitely just blessed to be where I am. I'm just thankful that God has put me in the position that I'm that I'm in. So I'm definitely just blessed to have all the things that God has blessed me with.
That's Sam Howell, already number 5 all-time at Carolina in passing yards. Needed just 18 career games to go over 5,000 passing yards as a Tar Heel. Sam, great to see you as always, man. If you want to sneak one of those chicken truck shirts, just grab an extra one and bring it to us. That won't hurt our feelings, man. Good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Sam. Coca-Cola tastes better together and is a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. And they alone, Coca-Cola, brought you that conversation with Sam Howell. Good to talk with Sam. Thank you, Sam, for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, let's get to our social drive. Adam's going to cruise us through social media as we find some relevant Tar Heel topics, and we're going to start with some Tar Heels in the NFL. Cole Holcomb for the Washington football team, Gio Bernard for the Cincinnati Bengals. Both had big plays and games this past weekend. Let's take a look and listen.
Bringing pressure. Dalton off his spot and down. And guess who? Cole Holcomb from his linebacker spot gets there. Bernard in motion, play action, Burrow throwing, caught. Bernard, touchdown! And Cincinnati punches back.
Cole Holcomb also had an interception in that game. Washington got the win. Gio's touchdown almost was the game-winning touchdown, but Bengals. But still a great game for Gio. Another former Tar Heel in the NFL, Jason Brown, of course, had a great career with the Ravens, among others, on the offensive line. You might have heard a little more about his story on the audio version of the podcast on November 9th of 2018. He's doing some great things out at his farm, the First Fruits Farm, and Carolina Wrestling Jones went out and learned a little bit from Jason and also helped him harvest some to benefit the locals out there.
I really would encourage you to go back and listen to that interview if you have the time. And again, that date was November the 9th of 2018 on the audio version of the Carolina Insider podcast. It is an incredibly unique story where Jason Brown, still in his prime as an NFL football player, simply walked away from the game, felt as though he had a much higher calling than simply playing football. So he went and started this farm, and he is the man that is out there every day doing the manual work from sunrise to sunset, quite literally. He and his family make that farm run, and it's a fascinating story. I would really encourage you to check it out. Again, that date one more time, November the 9th of 2018. Jason Brown joined us on the Carolina Insider. Speaking of joining us, you may remember last week we gave away a couple tickets to the NC State football game, and it was Colby Gross who joined us in Kenan Stadium. Colby brought his mom, Holly, to the game, and he was nice enough to send us a picture as those two enjoyed a great afternoon, Adam, in Kenan Stadium, and did so decked out in Carolina blue, looking good.
Colby, I'd like to ask you a favor, and that is to not reference that your mom is a 92 grad, because that is suspiciously close to some other graduation years of some other people up here at this desk. So we would like you to not mention that anymore, but we're glad that Colby and Holly had a good time watching the Tar Heels beat the Pack.
Adam, another item that you mentioned on the audio podcast recently came to us from Michael Stewart, whose wife had an awesome idea for a gift for him. Explain this. This is cool.
This was an anniversary gift for Michael, and I just thought this was cool. This is a lot of his favorite Carolina t-shirts, and then he's got a tie from his dad and a flannel shirt from his mom that were some of their favorites, and so his wife just put these all together into this quilt and thought that was a really cool way to commemorate your Carolina fandom and the games and the folks who have been so important to you. And I'm sure people out there may have similar things. If you do, send us an email, carolinainsiderpod@gmail.com. We love seeing stuff like that. We'll try to get it on here as well. All
right, let's, to finish up, transition over to basketball. And Adam, it starts with somebody you may have heard of before, Michael Jordan, of course, former Tar Heel national champion, 6-time world champion. And Michael Jordan, now the owner of the Charlotte Hornets and doing some big things in the community, opened a second medical clinic in Charlotte for communities that have little to no health care options. You see there the quote where he wanted especially to try to help out Black and Latino population. And Adam, great to see Michael Jordan giving back to the community, giving back to this state, and he has been so active with his philanthropy after getting out of basketball.
And I think it's interesting to watch him make that transition. Of course, he's an NBA owner, but also transition into that philanthropic portion of his life where he can do things like that, just decide I'd like to make this happen and then go out and do it. And who knows what's next, but it's been fun to watch him up to this point. He's got a lot of things going on.
Adam, talking about basketball, of course, the season a little less than a month away for Carolina basketball. The Tar Heels well into their preseason practices at this point, and you've been to a bunch of those practices, been able to see the Tar Heels. They've had some other visitors as well who, no offense to Adam, are a little better at basketball than you are.
All of them are better at basketball than I am. But it's been fun because of how odd the summer was. We didn't get to have the normal influx of alums coming back to play pickup games and things like that, but there have been quite a few here in the last few weeks. Cam Johnson has practiced with the Tar Heels. Kobe White has practiced with the Tar Heels. Theo Pinson's been around. Kenny Williams has been around. Tyler Hansbrough's been around. And when he's around, you know it's going to be intense. So great to see them get to interact with the younger players. And we also got the chance, Jones, to talk to both Cam and Kobe and get their thoughts on their NBA careers to this point, but also a little bit of insight on what they've seen from the 2020-21 Tar Heels.
Got a deep scouting report on Puff Johnson from Cam Johnson, so be on the lookout and keep your ears open for that in the audio podcast coming up in the next several episodes where we'll be able to talk to a couple of those former Tar Heels. All right, to finish things up today, want to go to something that I've been able and excited to be a part of this week. We mentioned this a few weeks ago. You may remember where Corey Holiday and Dre Bly were going to paint their fingernails blue if a certain amount of fundraising was hit that week to help out the Raise a Racket campaign, which helps the UNC Children's Hospitals. It is my week, Adam, the final week of October. And our goal for fundraising this week is $8,000 for this week that goes to Raise a Racket, which has a fund through there that helps the UNC Children's Hospital. If we hit that $8,000 mark this week, then we are going to release, Adam, I've already recorded it, so I know it's happened.
It's on the dark web.
That's right. It'll only be released if we hit that goal of I did a TikTok dance with my 12-year-old daughter, and I'm going to say I've seen it. It's not pretty.
RaiseARacket.com. Get to donating because the world needs to see that, and Jones has committed that if the goal is reached, we will run the TikTok video on next week's video pod on Thursday. So clear your social calendars for next Thursday at 1 o'clock, and let's make sure that happens, RaiseARacket.com.
Yeah, we got to give the final push. At last report, over $5,000 already raised. Still needed a little bit less than $3,000 to hit our goal, but that was a day or so ago, so we might even be closer now. So RaiseARacket.com. It all goes, a fun thing, of course, with the dance, but it all goes to help the UNC Children's Hospital, which is a terrific cause. All right, we've enjoyed being with you again as always. Looking forward to seeing you next week here on the Carolina Insider.
See you later, Big Grit.